Good morning, students. In today's class, you're going to learn Unit 2 poem Confessions of a Born Spectator by Ogden Nash, Part 2. Dear students, in Part 1, we have seen a general idea of the poem and about the poet as well as the poetic lines. Now let's see a vivid explanation of the poetic lines stanza-wise. Before that, a few words about the poet. Ogden Nash was an American poet well known for his light verse, of which he wrote over 500 pieces. With his unconventional rhyme schemes, he was declared the country's best known producer of humorous poetry. Now let's move on to the poetic lines. The first stanza. One infant grows up and becomes a jockey. Another plays basketball or hockey. This one the prize ring hates to enter. That one becomes a tackle or center. I'm just glad as glad can be that I'm not them, that they are not me. Let's see the meaning. In this poem, Confessions of a Born Spectator, Ogden Nash talks about how people choose different sports in their lives or decides to become athletes. The poet is aware of the fact that every child is endowed with deep urge to shine in some sports or games. Some play hockey and others take football. Some choose boxing as a career or to become a referee. At the same time, the poet confesses that he is glad that he is neither a sportsman nor an athlete. Now let's see the second stanza. With all my heart I do admire athletes who sweat for fun or hire, who take the field in gaudy pomp and maim each other as they romp. My limp and bashful spirit feeds in other people's heroic deeds. Now let's go to the explanation. While admiring the talents of the athletes and sportsmen who sweat their guts out for glory or for love of money in showy dress, that is, in colorful dress. Gaudy pomp means colorful dress. The poet shudders at the thought of athletes playing so aggressively, violently, that the rivals are maimed for life. Maimed here means injured. The poet's spirit is not so brave as to involve personally in such violent sports. Yet, the poet's weak and shy nature feeds on other people's heroic deeds. Romp means playing in a rough and noisy way. Now let's go to the third stanza. Now A runs 90 yards to score. B knocks the champion to the floor, cracking vertebrae and spines, lashes his steed across the line. You would think my ego it would please to swap positions with one of these. The poet in this stanza is fascinated by the power of sportsmen and their willingness to fight to the end. One runs fast 90 yards to put a leather ball between goalposts. Another knocks the leading boxer to the floor, cracking his vertebrae and spines and making him a vegetable. Whereas another person whips his horse with a lash to run to the finishing line. The poet, quite convinced of never yielding to the ego to swap places with any of the players. Swap here means exchange. The poet feels he would never exchange his place with that of the players. Now let's move on to the fourth stanza. Well, ego, it might be pleased enough, but zealous athletes play so rough. They do not ever in their dealings consider one another's feelings. I'm glad that when my struggle begins, twixt prudence and ego, prudence wins. Now let's see the explanation of this stanza. The readers are warned not to believe that the poet's ego would be pleased with sportsmen. Anyone's ego may be pleased, but not the poet's. But zealous athletes, that is, the enthusiastic athletes, zealous means enthusiastic. Zealous athletes play rough, that they do not even consider the feelings of fellow players. The poet admits that in the struggle between ego and prudence, prudence means wisdom. Finally wisdom wins. Hence he stays out of all troubles. The poet feels that he is safe. Now let's move on to the fifth stanza. When swollen eyes meet now the fist, when naps the knee and cracks the wrist, when officialdom demands, is there a doctor in the stands? My soul in true thanksgiving speaks for this modest of physic. Let's see the meaning. According to the poet, boxers naturally get hurt. The boxer who hits the socket of the eyes of another boxer, and knowing fully well that his eyes are swollen, continues to rain blows him. Rough and twisted fist keeps pounding. The knee naps, the wrist cracks, and then a referee calls for a doctor who could give first aid to the wounded player. The narrator wholeheartedly offers thanks to the modest physique, which means the strong body of the athlete. Now let's move on to the last stanza, the sixth stanza. Athletes, I'll drink to you or eat with you, or anything except compete with you. Buy tickets worth their radium to watch you gamble in the stadium, and reassure myself anew that you are not me and I am not you. Let's see the explanation. The poet is ready to join with famous athletes and buy tickets worth a radium, a costly metal. At any cost, he is ready to get the ticket to watch the performance of the athletes. But he is never ready to exchange places with them. So he says that once again he confesses that he is glad that he is neither a sportsman nor an athlete. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A A B B C C. Thank you, children. We'll see you in the next class.